Criminal, criminal, criminal. That's how my neighbor Victoria announces my arrival every single day, like I'm about to hold up the place just by unlocking my own front door. Picture this. I'm barely out of the car work bag in one hand, keys jingling, and here she is, HOA badge gleaming like she's the sheriff voice already trembling with accusation. I wish I could tell you this was an exaggeration. I moved out here non-HOA neighborhood, mind you, just to avoid drama like this. But somehow I landed right next door to the self-appointed enforcer of all things order and suspicion. Now I'm Kevin Parker, 45 software architect. Pretty normal guy. Makes a decent living, working from home. Which, let me tell you, is only as peaceful as your neighbors allow. My wife Julie, she's a nurse nights, mostly, which means I'm usually solo when this kind of circus pulls into town. We picked this house corner lot, just the right amount of yard to get away from HOA madness, not to get front row seats to it. But you know what they say, you want to make God laugh, tell him your plans. So 3 weeks in Monday night, Julie's pulling a double shift and I'm out checking the mailbox. There it is, wrapped up in tissue, like it's a wedding gift. This antique brass key, heavy old school, feels warm, even in the chilly air. Looks almost like it belongs here. No note, no explanation. Just a weird kind of invitation, and I, like an idiot, can't help myself. I walk up, line it up with my lock just to see, and it turns smooth as butter. For a split second, I'm thinking, what are the odds? Then all hell breaks loose behind me. Criminal, stop your breaking in! I whirl around and there she is, Victoria in full HOA regalia, bursting across her pristine lawn like she's tackling a fugitive on live TV. She's got the clipboard, she's got the badge, and she's got the righteous fury of someone who has waited her whole life for this moment. Lady, this is my house. I'm waving my keys, trying to explain like she's a kid who thinks the moon is made of cheese, but she's not buying a word. Wrong, she says. You don't belong here. Then I see it the moment her eyes land on the key. It's like someone flipped a switch in her brain. Gone is the authority, replaced by a look I've only ever seen on people staring down tornadoes or grizzly bears. Pure primal fear. It's back, she whispers. It found me again. And before I can say a word, she calls out, Tyler, get away from that man, he has it. That's when this kid, maybe 17, clean-cut, calm beyond his years, steps out from the garage. Tyler. He talks to his mom like he's her therapist, not her son. Mom, it's okay. Just a neighbor. But Victoria's stuck on the key. Tyler, he has the brass key. Mom, that's a different key. This man isn't Dad. Now we're getting somewhere. Suddenly it's not about me, it's about some ex-husband Robert and this key that triggers panic. Tyler's handling her, walking her through it like he's done this routine 100 times. Could you put it away, Mr. Parker, he asks. So I slip it in my pocket, watching this teenager with the poise of a negotiator. He turns to me. Welcome to the neighborhood. Mr. Parker, I hope you enjoy staying here. Something about the way he says staying sends a little chill up my spine, but I chalk it up to awkward small talk. The next morning, my front yard looks like a crime scene. 3 city trucks, code enforcement, community standards, the whole 9 yards. Victoria is strutting out like she's leading the Marines' clipboard army in tow. Turns out she's been keeping files on me for 3 weeks, charts, time-stamped photos, notes about my suspicious mailbox checking and door unlocking. She even has my grass measured to the decimal. I'm standing there in my own driveway being served with a $900 bill for things like excess grass height and unauthorized door access pattern. My crime, using my own door. Tyler, meanwhile, is documenting the whole thing, cameras at different angles looking like a junior Spielberg. The neighbors gather phones out, streaming, commenting like it's the Super Bowl. At this point, I'm half expecting a news van to show up. And the comments are wild. Some folks are siding with Victoria. Finally, an HOA president who does her job, they say. Yeah, right. That evening, Julie gets home. She's got this envelope in her hand, mail delivered wrong again. Kevin the mailman messed up at 12:47 again. 3rd time this month. But something about the way she looks at the envelope, it makes my stomach drop. What if it's not the mailman making the mistake? Wednesday night, Tyler knocks on my door, backpack slung over his shoulder, eyes serious. "Mr. Parker, we need to talk privately." "Mom's planning legal escalation," he says. He explains Victoria's trauma, the divorce, how she's hypervigilant now. He even shows me documents, real HOA protocols about property seizure safety measures. Tyler seems way too grown for his age, and Julie, she catches it. Why would a kid know so much about adult legal stuff? But I tell her divorce makes kids grow up fast. Except now Julie's got a theory. What if Tyler's not just mature? What if he's rehearsed? That night I glance over at Tyler's window. The lights are off, then suddenly on. He's there at his desk, writing focused like a surgeon. For a second I wonder, what's he recording exactly? Thursday I meet Robert, Tyler's dad, at his law office. Guy's a professional. Warm handshake, eye contact, family photos everywhere. He tells me Victoria's not crazy, just traumatized. Shows me therapy referrals, custody papers, you name it. Then Tyler calls right on cue. Dad. Mr. Parker understands family dynamics, he says. The way they operate, it's clinical, almost rehearsed. Robert offers legal strategies, tells me to document everything. Tyler offers to format the evidence, make it visual. I'm thinking, hey, maybe this kid's just a born mediator. Julie's not buying it. Kevin, she says something's off. Kids don't act like this unless they're trained to. But I brush it off. Friday morning, Tyler hands me some legal paperwork, property lines, clarification. When our hands touch, his skin's cold, his eyes just calculating. I shake it off. Later, during a confrontation with Victoria, Tyler's filming, but this time on his phone, not the fancy camera. Family therapy, he says, requires documentation. Saturday, our neighbor says Tyler mentioned our specific address, but we never told his family our street number. Tyler covers, says his mom tells him everything for safety, but the pieces aren't fitting together anymore. That night, I get a text from an unknown number, "Check your property deed before it's too late." Message vanishes as soon as I read it. So Julie and I pull out our deed. She's flipping through stops cold. Kevin, look. Our deed says 1248 Maple, not 1247. We've been living in the wrong house. 3 weeks of me unlocking Victoria's door, walking into her home thinking she's nuts for being scared while she's fighting off what she thinks is a daily home invasion. We crossed to 1248. My key works perfectly. That's our house, the non-HOA one we bought to avoid this madness. Meanwhile, Victoria's been suffering, and Tyler, well, he appears now different. Energy laptop in hand, face cold as ice. "Mr. Parker, congrats on finding your real address," he says, and shows me 3 weeks' worth of surveillance. Me entering Victoria's house, her panic attacks. Tyler calmly documenting everything. He gathers the neighbors, shows them footage. Suddenly, I'm not the victim. I'm the criminal. Victoria's paranoia was survival. Tyler's been running an operation using me as the perfect pawn to destroy his mother's credibility. And then the mask slips. Tyler thanks me for being a perfect weapon, but says the real fun hasn't started yet. He reveals his training, manipulation, documentation, psychological warfare, all courtesy of his dad. Family unity, he says, means destroying resistance. Love is control. Betrayal, well, that's what happens when you stand up for yourself. He opens a box. Victoria's childhood memories. The brass key unlocking letters from her grandmother. Photos, family heirlooms. Every time Victoria regained some peace, Tyler would trigger another panic attack by moving the key, bringing up the past, isolating her from the community. It wasn't random. It was a campaign, Robert's campaign, and Tyler was the soldier. You ever trust someone who seemed too perfect, too helpful, only to realize they were playing you the whole time? Tell me, when did you finally see through them? With Julie's help, I compile all the evidence, Tyler's recordings, Robert's custody tactics, Victoria's trauma. We bring it to the neighborhood, expose Tyler and Robert for weaponizing the whole community against a trauma survivor. The police get involved. Robert faces charges for child abuse and manipulation. Tyler, well, he gets sent to juvenile intervention, but the damage is done. 6 months later, I waved to Victoria from my real front porch, grateful for a second chance. But sometimes late at night, I check the locks twice. Last week, Julie found a brass key on our step. Note said, "Some lessons never end." A friend. So tell me, have you ever been used as a pawn in someone else's game? Do you believe control is love or the opposite? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've ever tangled with an HOA or a neighbor who seemed too good to be true, share your story. Hit that like button. If this twisted tale kept you on edge, and remember, sometimes the real danger is the person smiling next door. Stay sharp, stay safe, and keep your eyes open.